When you think about the criticism for the president, Nigeria attack all this stuff. Then we go Nicki Minaj Christian. Then we go, what type of a president do you want? Think about this here. If you're watching this, you're a family person. You got wife, kids, husband, family, right? What is the number one thing that's most important to you? It starts with the letter F. Safety, security. Number one thing, most important. When a husband and wife live in a community, when we go into a community, we were looking at a community one time in Delray. Beautiful home. The house was just sold to a very well-known person. We were about to buy the same house. I go into that community. After we look at the house, it's an amazing house, 25,000 square feet. The closet was insane. The backyard looked like one of these hotels in Vegas, and that's where they got the design. But I leave the place, and I start seeing people walking in the community, and I'm asking, hey, so listen, we're looking at one of the houses, such and such property. We just looked at it with such and such realtor. What stories are there here? Well, there's nothing. It's a good safe. The only thing is there's a python that they still haven't found. I said, excuse me? Yeah, there's this python that they haven't found. Are you like, I'm waiting for her to laugh. Are you joking? No, there's a python that's killed a couple of small dogs. We got 2 small dogs, Jimbo and Cooch. I'm like, wait. So then I go to the security and I say, hey, just out of curiosity, I just heard a story from a couple of the people that live here. Is it true that there's a python that's, yeah, but it's only 2 dogs? I said, so this is a true story. Guys, I walked out. I said, babe, we're not buying this house. I'm not going to sit in the backyard and the kids are swimming in the pool. I have to go look for a python and hire security guards. We're not doing that, right? So watch this. Look at maybe the most important stat for average families that just want to make sure if their kids playing outside, they're safe. Look at the numbers that just came in. Murders in the U.S. are down nearly 20%, the largest single year drop ever. By the way, I need these things at this age. You see these?
There it is. There it is.
Put them on there. So if you want to take some shots and make fun of me, go at it. But I'm doing it. So page 16. All right, let's check this out. So here we go. The nationwide murder rates fell dramatically in 2025, likely the single largest drop ever recorded, according to new crime data. Killing in the U.S. plunged nearly 20% to last year, following a COVID-era spike in violence, according to Real-Time Crime Index. In total, there were 5,912 murders recorded in the U.S. between January and October of 2025. Same time last year under Biden, in 2024, 7,369. It's a remarkable drop in crime. The crime data analyst Jeff Asher noted it almost certainly fell at a historic clip in 2025, led by the largest one-year drop in murder ever recorded. The co-founder of data analytics, Datalytics, added the positive trend includes a more than 20% decline in New York City, 28% drop in Chicago, 28% in DC, where President Trump oversaw a massive crime crackdown. Murder in LA County fell also by nearly 19%, along with a 7.5% decrease in New Orleans. Meanwhile, mass murders in the U.S. also fell in 2025, reaching their lowest level since 2006, according to the index, which compiles data from 570 law enforcement agencies. So when you see this, you don't have to agree with a lot of things the president is doing. Do you want it to be safe for your kids when you're going out there doing your thing? Do you want a leader people fear that if, God forbid, they break the law, he's going to show up and he's going to say, no, we're not doing this? I think there's another story that's out there that they're considering sending people to New Orleans or Louisiana. I'll pause on this. I'll come to you first, Tom. Tom, your thoughts on the story with the murder being down 20%. How big of a deal is this, Tom?
This is a huge and very, very big deal, and I'll tell you why. It says that policing works. Remember, the president was asked by citizens in Chicago that held up signs just like that man in Nigeria did. Remember this, Pat? People doing it, and a guy with a backpack, an African-American guy, appears that he's going to work, and he says, we need help here, we need help. And it's because defund the police led to a lack of safety, and then castrating the police led to a lack of safety. And then places like Los Angeles, you didn't need the National Guard there, but when you got national support for the police, remember, people in Portland and people in Minneapolis, there were more people wanting police back during the election, Democrats, independents, and conservatives, then we're sitting still with the defund the police thing. Defund the police was still this Democrat slogan deep inside the far, far left that's against any authoritarianism because, spoiler alert, they want to be the authority over your life. They want your guns. They want your freedoms. They want your freedom of speech. That's what's going on. So what I see here, policing works. Policing absolutely worked. Although when the murder falls by 19% in Los Angeles, it's usually because a lot of the victims moved away, moved out of state. So there's probably a little immigration that helped, reverse immigration that helped that stat. But this is, I think, our very big statistics on the full year. And nobody wants to give credit for Trump. Why don't we just give credit for America being safer and giving credit for the fact that the people that live downtown, the people that live these things, maybe feel just a little bit safer today than they did 11 months ago. Remember, we're here at the end of the year. We're about to say Happy New Year next week. And then 3 weeks later, it's the anniversary of the inauguration. So don't say this was already happening under Biden. Don't say you were already making progress. No, the National Guard thing, and to the Supreme Court that said, no, he doesn't have authority to force the National Guard in. You've got governors like the governor of Louisiana, who has just been appointed to do some work in Greenland, who said, we need some help in New Orleans, Mr. President. Can you please help us? Just like the Nigerian president says, can you please help us? And so I think this is a really big stat. There's more work to do because there are 5,912 murders that happen, which means there's 5,912 groups of friends and family that are hurting because they lost someone, but we made progress in the right direction, and it's as a result of leadership and supporting the local police.
Very good point, Tom. And you got to keep this in mind. What makes this data so important, and Vinny, I'm going to come to you next, is it's January to October. I love that it ends in October. You know why I love that it ends in October? Because election is November. So the best thing to do is show January to October. It's the perfect timeline to make the comp on to see maybe Biden made America safer. What if data showed that it was safer under Biden? Well, guess it wasn't. Guess what? It wasn't. It wasn't. So no matter what people are going to be talking about, the most base, and by the way, if the Republican Party, if conservatives, if the White House doesn't know how to sell this, they have to sell it. Like if you want to talk to women, talk to mothers, and look at them and say, ma'am, to all the mothers out there who have kids under the age of 18, what happens every time your kid steps out of the house and you're not around them? What do mothers start doing? You panic a little bit. You worry a little bit because you're worried, is your kid going to come back because of the crime and the murders that's taking place? That fear on every single mother in America, that's organically, you were born with it. He decreased it by 20%. Their policies decreased it by 20%. You can sit there and bitch and whine about 50 other policies that maybe you're not happy with. But the one thing that's very important to you, your kid will come home tonight, 20% safer than it was last year, same exact time. They should be celebrating this and screaming it off the top of their lungs. This is a massive, massive victory for the administration. Vinny, your thoughts?
Pat, great point. And going back to, guess who's not complaining, Pat? Guess who's not complaining like the Christians in Nigeria? The mothers. The mothers of the kids that got to walk through these freaking neighborhoods because the Democratic mayors have failed the public. Okay, J.B. Pritzker, Johnson, from all these mayors and all these governors. Where are you at? What are you doing? 20%, Pat? That's not a 5%. That's not a 10. 20% of murder is down. And Tom, you nailed it. I guess the National Guard, I guess because you guys aren't doing your job, we have to deploy United States soldiers to walk around because you guys aren't doing your job. Okay, and guys, let's not forget, he's been in for 1 year. 1 year, and everything's happening. The economy's starting to cook. Gas prices 5-year low. Inflation 4-year low. GDP's getting up. Crime is down. Murder is down. He's bombing terrorists. What else do they want? And Pat, you know who's going to complain today? Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer with his freaking beady little eyes in his glasses, because they have nothing. And I just hope that the American public, guys, the people out there, because I know our audience is broad and there's a lot. Stop. When is enough going to be enough for you? What else does this guy have to do? He's not perfect. There's some stuff that I disagree with. Actually, there's a lot of stuff I disagree with. But the safety, the American people, the mothers, the fathers that are now 20% safer that their kid's not going to get murdered in a democratic city because your governor and your mayor are trash. And they're not doing nothing. All they're worrying about is their image and their future election. Well, guess what? I'm happy for it, and that's just another W for Trump. Keep them coming.
Tom, I'm going to come to you next. Great point. Tom, where are you at with this?
I kind of just echo the point I just made, and I think that's where I am.
I'm sorry, I was going to go to Adam. I'm sorry, Tom. Adam, where are you at with this?
Look at Tom, typical guy, stealing my thunder, Tom. I'm just kidding, Tom. We're good. Yeah, you guys said it, so I'll just be quick. Trump is the law and order president. Pat, you're absolutely right. A parent, their first thing is safety and security. It was just Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. I hung out with my nephew yesterday. Usually when I hang out with my nephew, it's 2 hours, it's 3 hours. Last night we did the first sleepover. I said, what's up? You're going to come over. We're going to play basketball. We're going to do a sports day. You're going to sleep over. He's with me here at the office shooting hoops. Hopefully not laying too many bricks. He's in the gym right now. But there was a different wiring in my head yesterday when we're walking all over Miami. There's a car coming. Hey, Rory, come over here. Hey, what's going on? Just when you become a parent, even if it's for 24 hours, there's something different that goes on in your mind versus, yeah, I'm the cool uncle. I pop in and out. So I felt that fatherly or parental calling, and that is the number one thing. So number one, respect to Trump for making these numbers move. Respect the police. Turns out we do want to fund the police, not defund the police. We want to respect our military. We want to respect ICE. We want to respect what they're doing with the National Guard. At the same time, let's give credit to governors and mayors in big blue cities. It's not just Trump. Sure, I'll give him the lead dog credit. But if murders are down in New York City, 20%, 28% in Chicago, 28% in D.C., 19% in LA, 7% in New Orleans. Good job to the leadership there. I'd rather it go down and give them credit than it go up and place blame.
Great. Let's hash that out. Let's debate that. Okay. How come that didn't happen last year?
Well,
just think about this question. It's a very, very important thing. Normally, in a family, I posted this story the other day on Twitter. And I want to read the story to you. It was a Christmas story, and it's going to come back to what Adam just said. And Adam, I want you to rebuttal to what I'm going to say and give your argument, because I do understand where you're going with this. Here's a story for you folks. Every year, Grandma insisted on hanging the last ornament herself when they were putting up the tree. It was a small, cracked glass bell, nothing fancy. One Christmas, she didn't make it to the tree. The family argued over who would hang it. Old wounds resurfaced. Old resentment came back like ghosts in tinsel. Finally, the youngest grandchild climbed the chair and placed the bell near the top. Inside, it was a folded note no one had ever seen. It read, "When I'm gone," because she's dead at this point, "don't fight over me. Love louder, forgive faster. I'll be right here." That year, the tree felt fuller than it ever had. Every family has certain pain and scars that seem to be impossible to cure, and they just may be, but can still do our best to love. God knows most people are not lacking another iPhone or car or jewelry. Nothing's above love. What's the moral of the story here? What if that grandma didn't write that note? You think that family still is united? Do you think the grandma not writing that note, do you think the bickering would have stopped or gotten worse? What if that grandma didn't put that together? What's the moral of the story? The person up top either makes things safer, more reckless. The grandfather that holds the family together, who is maybe not liked all the time. Maybe he's feared a little bit. Maybe he's respected. They love him, but there's a little bit of fear. Like there's a line you can't cross with this individual. Right? They're typically like at gatherings, everybody that just wants to be chill, they'll kind of go away from that alpha personality, that person that's kind of protecting everybody, and they'll go just say, man, let's just kind of relax. Because that person, when he puts his foot down, everybody stops. Do you really think if Biden, here's a question, Adam, do you really think if Biden was the president this year, that the crime rate would be down 20%, murders would be down 20%? That's the question, Adam.
No, not at all. Biden is one of the weakest guys we've ever seen. In fact, during COVID, people absolutely lost their mind. So if we're going to say, put any of this on Biden, I'm not going to give Biden any credit for any of this. But yeah, listen, arguably, I might be the biggest Trump fan on this podcast at this point. I mean, I love what he's doing, and I get it from the left and the right.
Do you know what point I'm making?
Do you know what starts with leadership?
If there isn't that one person up top that everybody fears, respects, and maybe it doesn't even matter if you like him or love him, but if there's somebody up top that you fear and respect, those communities, like, listen, this is the worst time to be a criminal.
Mm-hmm.
This is the worst time to be a drug dealer selling cocaine in America. This is the worst time trying to bring drugs or cocaine to America from Venezuela. This is the worst time to be smuggling cocaine and drugs on a boat. This is guess what was the best time? The last 4 years was awesome for crime.
Mm-hmm.
The last 4 years was awesome from coyotes. Do you know all those coyotes that were smuggling and bringing kids over the border? Business was awesome for coyotes. How's business this year? Sucks. They're making no money. So that is the power of having somebody that's feared and respected, and he's providing that. And I think it's very important. Do I think the governors also get some credit and the mayors? Yes. Why? Because someone's done this. You know this light that I have here? You know these lights that we all have that we're doing you know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, of
Someone's taken this and gone like this on every city. Hey, DC, boom, show the stats.
Yep.
Hey, Baltimore, boom. Oh, shit. Stat. Hey, Chicago, boom. Here's a stat. Someone's putting light on it that they were not doing the last 4 years. And once somebody puts light on it, you better get that number fixed or else, right? We all know what data can do to all of us. There is nothing more exciting than when I run into people that are wearing this gear, Merry Christmas, boldly. Mario's been wearing this every day, wherever he's going, the VT gear here, the future looks bright. And when you open it up here, it says future looks bright. I love seeing the future looks bright hat that Tom's got on, or you got the faith over fear gear. Record-breaking number of people are wearing the merch gear that we have with us. And there's some massive announcements that I'll be making here very, very soon to you guys, what our plans are going into 2026 with this of VT merch. We want tens of millions of people to represent this gear. My suggestion to you, wear these things boldly. If you support our brand, you like what we do, you don't want us to take money from Qatar or some of these other organizations that are coming and offering money to own podcasts and shows, I highly recommend you support brands that are able to give their opinions and thoughts freely. And if you believe the future looks bright like we do, I am certain the future looks bright. Let me give you guys a crazy story. In 1997, Apple did $816 million of losses. Their top line revenue in 1997, they lost $816 million in 1997. Today, Apple makes $1.1 billion per day.
Wow.
They lost $1 billion in a year in 97. Today, they make $1.1 billion a day. They believe the future looks bright. Now they're a $4 trillion organization. For us, for some of you guys that may be celebrating Christmas, and honestly, maybe things weren't going right for you. Maybe I've had the Christmas when I'm sitting, I'm like, is anything going to turn around for me? Is life going to change at all? Like, is this how it's going to be? What am I going to get my break? You know that feeling how like you feel like, man, like you're carrying a lot, like the feeling of you go to Christmas and everybody's giving gifts. And it's like that one movie, 4 Christmases, where Dallas, Denver, all the brothers come in, and Vince Vaughn is the big brother that's making all this money now. And he brings the recent Xbox and he brings all this stuff. And he says, did you not see the minimum of $10? And the other guy a flashlight. I don't know if you guys remember that scene. Sometimes that may be the Christmas. Things are not going right for you. Yesterday, Vinny was sharing a story with me, which is an incredible, incredible story that I want to share with you guys, which is what we believe in. Have you ever heard of a guy named Jack Strauss? You ever heard of Jack Strauss? Can you do me a favor, Humberto? Type in Jack Strauss, then put poker. Jack Strauss, Strauss, and type in poker. Craziest story of Jack Strauss. One day, Jack Strauss in 1982, this man that Humberto is about to pull up his picture because Humberto is so fast and quick and phenomenal. This guy's playing poker. This guy's playing poker in 1982. He's in a World Series poker tournament, okay? Right there. That man right there. Zoom in a little bit. He's in the 1982 World Series poker. You know the big tournament that people win $10 million? In 1982, That guy right there is getting off the table because he called all in and he has no chips left. He's thinking. He gets up to leave. And then all of a sudden they say, no, Jack, you have one last $500 chip left. He says, you're kidding me. They said, no. All right. I mean, you only got one chip left, $500, which is what? Nothing. He takes the $500 chip and he keeps doubling it and doubling it and doubling it and doubling it. You know what ends up happening to him? He wins the flipping 82 World Series poker.
Wow.
Did you hear the story? Well, some of you are watching this. You're like, dude, I'm down to my last chip. I'm trying to figure life out. I went all into my business. I took money out of my 401k. My wife and I wanted to start a restaurant. We did this. This Christmas was rough. We stayed home. We didn't go anywhere. We got some basic gifts, $10 Amazon gift cards. Life can turn around if you think long-term. That's what we believe in. That's what happened to every single one of us because we believe the future looks bright. So if you believe the future looks bright and you support our brand, go to vtmerch.com, place an order for yourself, whether it's the Merry Christmas gear, whether it's the future looks bright, faith over fear, or the shoes, FLB. We're excited about big plans we got in 2026, and I'll tell you more about it in the first week that we do the podcast in January of 2026.
If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.